Alrighty, what is quacking, everybody? So, Warframe is an amazing game, but it's missing one thing that I feel like we need. We got mining, we got fishing, there's the obvious crafting of your weapons and everything, we got the combat in the gameplay, but you know what we don't have? We don't have farming. There's no crop growings, unless I'm completely missing something. There's a lot in this game, unless I'm missing something. And I know there's the Duviri thing where you run in and you grab your things that automatically grow, but I'm talking real crop growing. Like, we need to be farmers, and that would make Warframe an official cozy game in the most loose sense possible. Because think about it, you got your cozy games, they're mostly farming sims, you run around. We got our romance as well, so we have romance, mining, fishing, all these different things. We just need farming, and that's it. I mean, we don't have like a building section, we can't build like a town, but like we decorate our ships, we decorate the drifter. I think we can decorate the drifter camp. I haven't tried decorating it, and then we also have the back room now, so we have all these different things, but we don't have crop growing, and that is one thing DE should add, is growing crops. I think that would be the most fun and funniest things they could do. They could be like, you know what, you guys want a cozy game? Here you go. Here's some farming. Now, I don't know how they would implement it. They could do it how we have our current mining and fishing, where there's like, they just add, plots of land out in, Cetus and Fortuna, and you just run around and, you plant your crops. And then after you plant your crops for a certain amount of time, you'll get a notification saying, hey, your crops in Orb Villas is ready. And then you just go there and mine them or something. Or, with, their future expansion that they're probably going to come out with, they just give us a little something, give us, extend the back room, be like, knock out this wall, or like give us an extra room on the ship, maybe just, something where we can plant crops. Because, we have Oberon in the game, but like this could tie into like a whole new frame as well, where it's just like, we get a flora themed frame that isn't just Oberon. Like, he has his grass or whatever, but we can have something different. We can have like, maybe like a poison ivy type frame that does like, a lot of toxic damage. Granted, we have Saren, so maybe this, hypothetical flora frame could have like, maybe something similar to Lavos, where it's like you have different flowers that can do different status effects and shoot out the flowers. Then you have your like generic attacking abilities, like whipping some things. Or it could be like a support frame where you just, give your allies overguard. You throw like a seed bomb or something at the allies, and it gives them like an overguard or health or something like that. And like, maybe we get like, you put down like self turrets. So it's just like you throw down a couple turrets and it's just like, oh, these like flowers shoot things, something like that. And maybe, an exalted weapon. Like, at first, exalted weapons, I wasn't, I didn't really like understand exalted weapons when I first started playing, but now I absolutely love exalted weapons. But that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is I want farming in this game. Give us a peaceful Thanos life. Give us the life. We just beat the Avengers. We snapped away half the universe, and now we can sit on our farm and just grow crops. And what they could do with the crops is, obviously these would be like Helmuth fodder as well. We can use it for helmet fodder. And what would be cool if they had these crops, they like boost the helmet. Like, typically when you give stuff, it like degrades, but like the flowers that we could grow, maybe we get like a skill or something like that. Or maybe like certain warframes can plant certain crops or encourage certain crops to grow a certain way. Like, we get different crop variants, and then we can feed them to the helmet, so that way the helmet, hunger meter just goes up faster. It already goes up pretty fast as is, but like having, dedicated resources. Maybe I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of resources right now because I'm only MR25. I'm burning through things like it's a candle like being torched. That's how much I'm going through things right now. So if I could have some flowers to feed my helmet that aren't just my regular things, like I'm still good right now. I got a resource doubler, but you know, just that little extra. But also we could use the flowers to like give us buffs maybe per like mission. Like we just, you know, have like a flower, maybe make like some food or potions or something, and we take the flower before a mission. It only works for one mission, so it's just like, oh, one mission. And I think that would be really good for like level cap runs. If you got like a nice buff potion, you're like, all right, cool, I got this potion, let's go run in, something like that. And I think there's just a plethora of things that DE could do with farming, and it would just make the game just nice and cozy, just having a chill time. You know, you could have your dailies. They could just incorporate into your dailies, like, oh, time to go to the farm. You know, add like a mission to Cetus or something, or like I said, you know, future expansion, just like, oh, we found this place we can farm. You know, like if we go to Tau, we're all speculating we're going to Tau, we go to Tau, we start farming on Tau, something like that. I think that'd be pretty fun. I think that would be something DE could add is farming in the game. I think that would be something that would just kind of complete the game. That's the one thing it's missing, is farming. And then honestly, if we really want to get wacky with it, we add like a shop system where you trade with NPCs to make credits. I'm not saying like make that credit thing OP, but like a Harvest Moon type vibe, Stardew Valley type vibe, where it's just like your crops, you harvest and stuff like that. And then, you know, you have a little shop like, oh, come to the shop and, you know, do that. Or maybe we can like give gifts to other NPCs, like let us go visit Lotus and go, here you go, mommy, space mother, here you go. I made this with my hard-earned work on the fields of growing celery and tomatoes, and here's your celery tomato salad. And then she's like, oh, thank you, my space child, I love you so much. I think that would be absolutely creepy if you have the Nada version. Like, I have the Margolis version of Lotus, but like, I think if you did the Nada version, that'd be a little bit creepy if she's just like, yes, my child. Like, that form kind of creeps me out a little bit. So yeah, but you could do that. You just give her gifts, and you know, it'd be more interactive and stuff like that. This is just like a lot of, you know, wish list of just like add the final cozy touches to Warframe, because we got mining. I just wish mining wasn't as stressful sometimes, because sometimes I'm just trying to mine. I'm just running around Cetus or Orb Villa, and I'm just like, oh, let me just mine. And then things have the audacity, the gall, to come up and smack me. And I'm like, really? Really? Like, what'd you think was going to happen? And I smack it away with whatever frame I'm using. And it's the same thing with fishing, except fishing, I was trying to fish for very specific fish in Fortuna. I was trying to get some stuff because I was trying to craft a Garuda and some weapons, and I'm like, okay, I need some fish, and they just insisted, the enemies insisted on bothering me. There was none there, and then they spawned out of thin air, and they were like, okay, well, you know, now we're here, we're gonna ruin your little time, okay, we're gonna mess you up. And it scared the fishes away. So if we had farming, it doesn't have to be stressful like mining and fishing, or like semi-annoying. We just have a nice little farm, and then, you know, maybe like, you know, the villagers of Cetus come by, or the people of Fortuna come by, and we just, you know, we have a little shop, and we start selling them things, and we get some credits for it. Obviously, the credit things would have to be balanced out properly, so, you know, we're not sitting there farming credits. I would love to farm credits too. I'm broke as hell right now. But also, like, maybe credits or endo as well, because I'm also broke on endo. So we just have those two things, like, oh, you know, like, maybe you give some food to Maru, and she's like, oh, here's an Ayatan sculpture, or here's some endo, woo, thanks for the food. So I think that'd be cool. You know, add some cooking in there as well, instead of just like raw ingredients, just do cooking. And, you know, we can be a chef with some farming, and we go in hard work, you know, all of our hard work. You don't even have to do the combat. Like, that's the main thing of the game. Once you get to this part, you just bam, just I'm gonna become a farmer. I'm just gonna farm, and then I'm gonna make some food. add some cooking to the game. I'll make some food, put the fish in there as well. We have some unique recipes and just add a kitchen to the ship or something. We just sit there and vibe out. We're like, yeah, this is it. And then we would officially have Warframe, the cozy game. And so many people would come to Warframe if you added farming and cooking, because you got the perfect everything cozy. I think that'd bring more of an audience to the game if you got all the cooking and everything. Granted, people would have to go through the game and just kind of like plow through it, unless, like I said, if they do like a new Cetus quest or something, or it's just like kind of those planetary quests where it's like, oh, you go to Cetus and run around, and then, oh, you go to Fortuna and run around, and then, oh, you go to Deimos and run around, and you have that kind of like quest where you're bouncing around the planets, early on, probably like, obviously like after Mars or whatever, like after one of the later quests or something like that. But you have that, and then all the people would just come in. They'd be mining and fishing and cooking and farming and making some credits and stuff like that, living a humble life. And then people would warm up to just getting to 1999, doing all the 1999 stuff, and then they have we take our relationship partner from 1999, and then I romanced Owie by accident. I was trying to go for Letty, and I accidentally asked Owie out by accident. I hit one of the dialogue options when talking to her, and she's like, oh my god, yeah, I'm gonna go tell everybody right now. I was like, damn, I wanted Letty. But, things happen for a reason. So, like, I take Owie, and then I go to the farm with Owie. She's just sitting there jamming out in the corner. And I'm like, can you just help me with the farm? And she's like, saying that you're the best thing that happened to me in my life. And I'm just like, I've heard you, like, the 1,000th time, okay? The 1,000th time I've heard you. Now help me with the lettuce, please. So I think that would be an absolutely, just fun banger time. Just add some farming, add some cooking. That's what the game's missing. It's missing farming. That's all. Just not the typical farming we're used to. Not the level capped runs. The running around and doing all these crazy things, running different planets and different missions, farming Helene for plastids, or also doing the other mission for Tellurium and different farming. Relaxing farming. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about sitting in a mission for 20-30 minutes. You just vibe out on your farm, water some plants, look at the scenery, have a chill time, cook some stuff, give us things we can add to the consumable wheel, sell some things. That's what Warframe's missing. It's missing that peaceful farming atmosphere. But that's just my little goofy thought that I had the other day. Let me know what you think down below. If you stayed through this entire video, subscribe, and I will see you at the next one. Peace.